you so much for being with me today. It's time to do a reading. I feel like going forward. All right then. Adventures. Hey, we have a theme going here. Adventures and going forward. Now, exactly what kind of adventure is this? I'm just making sure that it's showing up in the camera. Not really. Let's move it a little bit more. All right, here we go. So, what kind of adventure are you moving towards? I feel like using this stuff. Okay. Ah, oh no! I'm sorry, sweetheart. My cards fell. I really don't like it when my cards fall. Oh, thank you. Alright. So I feel that these are your cards. I'm sorry, cards, for letting you fall earlier. I really don't like it when they fall, but honestly, these past few days, the cards have been jumping out of the deck, like a lot. Like they have a lot to say. So I think they're kind of excited to do their thing. Okay, here we go. This is very interesting because it's simultaneously like the Three of Wands for me is also like an adventure card, like going forth. Two of Wands and Three of Wands. Sometimes they give me that kind of energy, going forward, like choosing a path and going towards it. And normally with the Three of Wands, I would say you envision this or you dreamed of this, like it should, like, yeah, like a dream of yours. It's something you wanted to do and you're going forward with it. But at the same time, you have the Moon card, which kind of says no. Or is it? I did a reading recently, which kind of feels somewhat similar to this. Somewhat like you think that you know the path that you're going on, but you actually don't. For any younger people who are watching this, you may not remember a time before GPS and stuff like that, before apps. But let me tell you, back in the day, okay, when my family and I would go on a road trip, I guess, like to go on a vacation, we would only have a vague idea of the direction that we're going in. Like, oh, the place that we're staying at is in this town, right? And we know the street, the address, but like as to how to get there, um, it wasn't uncommon to stop and ask people that you think are kind of trustworthy for directions. Or if you go to a gas station or some sort of landmark, um, like if there's a restaurant in the area, and the travelers stop by there, pass by there, then you can ask them for directions. It was very common to have to do that multiple times during a trip versus now, you kind of know exactly where you're going. So I wonder if this is like a mixture of that. You kind of know the general direction that you're going, but the actual stuff that you're going to be encountering, you have no idea. And I've had the Lord of the Rings and all those references in my head for a few days now. So please excuse me. So right, it's kind of like Frodo and Sam knowing they're going to Mordor, right? And they can see, like in the movie, you can see that there's like this really dark place in the horizon with like lightning bolts and stuff, and you're like, oh, that's the evil place right there. That's where we're going. But like, as to the nitty gritty of how you're gonna get there, do you go up? Do you go down? Do you pass by this valley, or do you climb up this cliff? You don't really know. That's my doggy with the squeaky toy, by the way. He's having a blast. And what the Seven of Pentacles, I'm turning back to see which squeaky toy he's playing with. Which one is it? Which one is it? You are so cute. No, he stopped playing when I looked at him. He's pretending he wasn't being silly. Anyway. The Seven of Pentacles for me feels like you've been working towards this. So now I have a different analogy in my head, and I have met people who've gone through this, so it's quite fun. You know, like people who want to go to New York, right? Oftentimes it's something that they've been building towards, right? Like maybe from the time they were in middle school and high school, like I'm gonna go live there, I'm gonna go do this, I'm gonna do that. They might have had to save money in different ways in order to get there, or they might have had to work really hard to make sure that they gained entry to a school in that area, and you know the schools are really competitive, so they've been working towards it and they know what they want to do, right? They want to go to New York, but do they understand what's going to happen once they get there? No. And there's so many different movies, right? Maybe they're not called coming of age movies anymore, but so many of those like self-discovery type of movies are set in New York, in a place like that, right? It's definitely an adventure. It's definitely going forward. And the strength card here is really interesting because it's in reverse, which means, again, you feel like you're prepared and you feel like you know where you're going. But once you get there, you will be tested. Again, the whole like coming of age thing, right? Like what are the obstacles that you're going to go through once you get there? Yeah. And the strength, of course, is not physical strength, right? It's emotional strength. It's spiritual strength. And I have this image in my head of somebody who's maybe raised in a devout raised in a devout family, or like in a strict household, or maybe you only grew up with people who had the same belief systems as you, right? And then once you go to a place like New York or something like that, you will be met with so many different people with so many different different types of values, different ways of life. And if you are from that devout kind of upbringing, you might be phrasing this in your mind as, oh, I'm going to be tempted to stray away from the path, or something like that. Or, okay, you may realize that there's more than one path. And that could be jarring, really, for somebody who was only raised to believe there's only one way. Like there's this one path to what you're trying to do. Whereas in reality, we all have our individual journeys. Like that, I can't believe this. Anyway, it's in my head, so I have to say this, right? This kind of mind fuck, right? That's kind of like, you know, your brain exploding, like, what? That's possible? What? People live like this? This is what? Yeah, that could be the adventure for you right there. Just realizing the vastness of possibility, the variety of different people. And, you know, for some people, when they go to a place like New York, and it doesn't have to be New York, it could just be a big city. There are so many big cities around the world. It could be the big city where you live in whatever country you're from, right? That's already a big shock. Or just going to like a really big university. Because again, that's like an amalgamation of people from so many different backgrounds, so many different places. So, you know, for some people, And I have to say this because it's in my head, and I know that it's true because I've seen it for myself, right? Um, for some people, all that means is it's like they're in a candy shop and they want to sample different people, right? Like they want to date. I'm using date euphemistically, by the way. Date so many different kinds of people, and they're just like that. They're like exploring or collecting things like that. But I mean, I'm not saying that's wrong necessarily, but some people are only stuck in that, like that kind of hookup culture, or how do I say this? Like instead of seeing, wow, these people are all so different, that there are different manifestations of what a person could be, or like different manifestations of what God could be, right? They're just trying to hedonistically, you know, sample all those pleasures, I guess. Again, euphemism after euphemism here. But and it's not the card saying this in this case, right? It's me. I'm hoping that you go beyond that. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. If you want to, you can, but I'm hoping like at some point you also go beyond that a little bit. And the image that's in my head is like if you watched Westworld, not the older movie, but like the HBO series. I think I watched up to season 3 of Westworld, I think. But anyway, there's this backstory, and again, spoiler alert for anybody. There's this one part where these two young men go to Westworld, one of them for the first time, and the other one for I don't know how many, maybe the fifth, sixth, or I don't know. Anyway, his father was actually involved, I think, in the creation of the park, right? And it is a whole new world, so to speak, right? It's like a whole new ecosystem, kind of. There are these robots who are living this whole life with their own backstories and everything. It's kind of like living a role-playing game, right? Except it's physical, it's tangible. And so the one who's there for the very first time kind of wants to do the adventures, the side quests, like, oh, let's go stop the train robbery, or let's go rescue the whatever. You know, he wants to do those things. And then the other guy who's been there for so long, or for so many times, is like, that's boring, let's go do what's really fun. Everyone does that. Let's go do something else. And basically all he wants to do is go to the brothel. That's what he does. All the time. That's it. And so at some point in the story, the guy who's there for the very first time says, you keep saying that you don't want to do what everybody else is doing, or you don't want to do the same thing, and yet you are stuck doing the same thing over and over. Like you don't even explore this world. All you're doing is basically being in the room with like various different robotic women who can't actually give consent, but that's another thing. Instead of actually enjoying the whole of this world, the whole of this creation. And that's just what I wanted to tell you. It's like, you are going on an adventure. You are going to this brand new world, brand new environment. And despite all your preparations, you don't know what's going to happen, which is a beautiful thing. I don't know if you actually appreciate that or something. Maybe it's going to scare you. It probably will scare you. It'll test you, absolutely. But it is a beautiful thing that you don't know what's going to happen, because it's a surprise. It's a gift, right? I mean, as much as people like to plan for everything, there is so much joy right? And so much fulfillment in encountering things that are unexpected and spontaneous. And I hope you get to fully appreciate those moments. And I feel like adding this one more thing. Like, I had a person who I considered a friend for a time, and it was very interesting because I saw her basically come to a place for the very first time, and this is a place that she really wanted to go to, right? She wanted to establish a life there, and she was crippled by her own expectations. What do I mean by that? Like, she's like, oh, I don't want to look like a newcomer. I don't want to look like I don't belong here. And I have all these friends who are telling me, like, oh, don't do this, don't do that, because you look like a noob, or you look like you just got here. Like, act cool or act aloof, or yeah, don't do this, don't do that. It's like so many rules. And I'm like, I've lived here for over a decade. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And I don't mean that in a bad or condescending way, but I'm just like, you are new. Why don't you act new? It's okay to be new to this place. Why do you have to act so cool? And also, the people that you're talking to and you're hanging out with, they're brand new here too. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. It's quite funny. It's like the blind leading the blind in a way. Like, they're just so concerned with looking cool that they don't actually do the stuff they want to do. Like, imagine going to Disney World and then feeling like, oh, I don't want to act like it's my first time here, so I'm not going to look excited for any of the rides. I'm not going to wear the Mickey ears. I don't want to feel like, I don't want people to look at me and think, oh, wow, she's probably never been outside her small town. You know, this isn't a big deal. This isn't even the newest ride. Like, she shouldn't be excited. Who the fuck cares? Enjoy whatever you want to enjoy. Do whatever you want to do. Right? Like, fully enjoy the experience rather than trying to look cool in the eyes of other people. Right? There's so much stuff about things like that, right? Like on YouTube. Like, things I would never do if I moved to Japan. Well, maybe it's fun to experience that at least once, and then you realize, yeah, I won't do that again. But at least I tried it. You know what I mean? Yeah, one more Oracle deck card for you. Oh, you're gonna go soon. You're very close to achieving your goal. You're gonna go soon on this adventure, on this trip. I wonder if because you just started school, you're about to start school. I do feel like that, something like that, like you're going away to university, or maybe you're starting a job somewhere, you're moving. That's what it is. But whatever it is, the cards are saying, yep, you're almost there, you're almost there, you're about to go there, and like I said, so much new stuff happening for you, and I'm just excited for you. Enjoy it. Don't let the fear of looking cringe, don't let the fear of looking uncool prevent you from doing whatever it is you want. And, once you are there, eventually, I hope you start to really take it in. I don't know. I guess that's where we're going to end for now. Thank you so much for watching this reading. Thank you for letting me be a part of your day. I hope you have a great day. Oh, also, if this reading helped you, press the like button and let me know what you thought in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. Bye bye.